Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are joining this special webinar from. Welcome to the Best Practice and Epic Failure Sharing Workshop that Fleet Forum, together with the WREC and the Logistics Cluster, is organizing because we feel that it is important that we discuss best practices, but also epic failures, so that we can learn from each other in order to make our fleet or our supply chain more sustainable. So today we're going to learn from three presenters how they have dealt with best practices, epic failures, um, and what they have learned from that, and also hopefully to give you some inspiration to copy what they have implemented in your own organization, and maybe also provide the room to discuss amongst each other why it is sometimes so difficult to implement best practices, but maybe also to learn from our epic failures. So before we go into the first presenter, Catherine from the WREC will share some insights from the survey that we did, and we're very happy that we had quite a lot of respondents to the survey. Then we will move into the presentation from Moses from IRC about the driver recognition program. After Moses, Ibrahim from Save the Children International will share his experience with implementing a road safety program and looking more into the causes of road traffic crashes. Then we'll move on to our third presenter, Samuel from Mon Club International, who will share insights from the implementation of a fuel improvement program. After that, we will put everybody in breakout groups, and we will ask you to discuss amongst yourself about epic failures, best practices in sustainable fleet management. Then we go back to plenary, and then we will close and have some next steps. But that is only after an hour and a half. We are not there yet. I will hand over to Catherine now to share some of the survey results. Enjoy.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Rose. And thanks everybody for joining us. My name is Catherine Ely. I am the project lead for the WREC Coalition under the Global Logistics Cluster. Very happy to have you guys here today. I'm going to go through this quite quickly, but I think one of the major things that I wanted to highlight here and why we wanted to share sort of the survey results with you all is because it happens to everyone. We had, I think, 27 respondents, and like over 50% said, absolutely, I've experienced an epic failure in trying to do implementing, green fleet initiatives and activities. So I think it's important to just to remind ourselves that we're definitely not alone when it comes to learning from our failures. 69% of those were related to either air pollution or greenhouse gas emissions. So I sort of lumped those two together because they're quite related with each other. And then the 30% remaining were related to fleet waste. And where did it happen in trying to implement it? The top results were for fleet right sizing, so adjusting your fleet to make it actually more efficient and effective for your operations. So getting rid of all those Land Cruisers that have been sitting parked and dumping black smoke for the last 20 years, getting rid of them somehow. Fleet right profiling. So changing the way, instead of having all Land Cruisers running through the streets of Nairobi, making them more saloon cars. Ride sharing initiatives, which I think is quite interesting to share with different organizations for common operational areas, and also vehicle pooling. So, and in the different phases, it's almost always at the beginning, it seems. So planning and then selection and acquisition. On the next slide, where did it really, like, what type of failure was it? People were unable to get started. And I think that is quite interesting as well, because it starts right at the beginning. Like, you have a grand idea, you start trying to, resource it, you put your SOPs in place, you're trying to make these things happen and get them implemented, but almost all the time we have challenges with getting things started. And of course, there's funding and resourcing challenges as well. So what have we learned from the survey specifically? So obviously, making sure that whatever you're looking into works for your context, right? So whatever is very local to you, cleaner fuel, it might not be available, right? Implementing hybrid or electric vehicles might not be possible. So you might have a great idea that you want to implement some of these things, but it might not actually be possible in your location because of infrastructure or technology. Some of the processes I think that are quite interesting as well. Finding common solutions and approaches to some of these problems, looking at accounting, making sure that you know who's going to be doing what, even internally within your organizations, mapping those different stakeholders and decision points, and who are the people who are actually going to be signing the checks, so that we can get these activities started. And making sure, of course, that you're not just sort of working in silos. And this is a common problem, I think, across the humanitarian supply chain sectors, that we often don't have a seat at the table, perhaps, when those decisions and conversations are taking place. But also, we haven't necessarily engaged with the right stakeholders throughout the process. And looking just at the final sort of lessons learned from the survey, costs. Costs are always very important. I think we're all acutely aware of that at the moment. But trying to build a business case for investments in more sustainable fleet solutions. And of course, making sure that when you're talking to donors, or your country director or head of program is talking to donors, making sure that they have all of the talking points that they would need to be able to drive your initiative forward. So those are just some really brief overview of what we've learned so far from the survey itself. And next, I want to hand over to Moses from IRC Nigeria to walk us through his experience in epic failure. So Moses, over to you.
Thank you, Catherine. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Moses Bulama, Senior Fleet Officer, International Rescue Committee. So I'll take you through our driver recognition program that we have done in 2024, and it's a continual process also in 2025. So the purpose and goal for the driver recognition program is to share best practice from our driving recognition program to other organization fleet managers. The goal is to promote safer, more efficient, and environmentally responsible driving while recognizing and motivating drivers. Next slide, please. This is the impact and results for our driver recognition program. And the indicators that we have used is hash braking, hash cornering, hash acceleration. So this is the figures of the significant reduction from 6.83 to 4.63 times on a monthly basis average for each vehicle. And then for hash cornering, 7.17 to 5.74 times. And then reduction in hash acceleration from 12 to 5.95 times. And then for excessive idling, from 7 hours and 30 seconds, it has reduced to 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 28 seconds. So the overall driving behavior scores increase from 83.39 to 91.33 grade. So before the driver recognition program, we are in grade B, but during the recognition program after, we have moved to A grade. And it has also increased the driver morale in a sense of ownership, and then fewer breakdowns and unscheduled repairs, stronger collaboration between drivers and fleet management. And we also identify and address vehicle abnormalities, ensuring our fleets operate safely and efficiently. And it also improves the driving behavior, reduce vehicle wear and tears, leading to saving 1,000 USD on repairs and potential fewer accidents. And then there is significant change in staff behavior as well. And last but not least, enhance the motivation and commitment to safe driving practices. Next slide, please. So this is the average result Next slide, so that we'll see the colors of what the A means and the B and C. So the A is excellent performance. This is where we are. But before we are at B, good performance. So C is satisfactory or average performance. And then D is below average. Then E, poor performance. F, very poor. And then G is critical failure. So this is the graph, the baseline before the start of the program, and then during the program, and then the current performance is 91.33. So we are still maintaining the excellent performance. Next slide, please. These are the lessons that we have learned during the driver recognition program. Behavior change takes time. Continuous coaching is key for drivers and those that are participating in the program. And then recognition is a powerful motivator, even non-monitoring. Transparent data sharing, foster trust and accountability. And then involving drivers in the process builds buy-in and sustainability, because if you don't carry them along, you will be doing the program alone. But once you carry them, then they will understand and then you work together. Next slide, please. So the best practices start with a pilot before scaling. If, for instance, you have maybe 5 locations, you can start with 1 location before you can scale it to a broader program, and then use clear and measurable performance indicators, like I said in my earlier slide, where we use hash braking, hash acceleration, hash cornering, and excessive idling as our indicator. So indicators are very clear. And then communicate frequently with drivers and teams during weekly and monthly meetings, so that you share with them where they are and where you want them to be. And then celebrate small wins publicly via emails and during weekly meetings with drivers, so that you recognize the top drivers. And then we also tie the initiative to broader organizational goals / KPIs, like cost efficiency, safety, and climate goal. So it's also part of their performance management. They know that this is what we are going to use to measure their performance before the end of the fiscal year. Next slide, please. So this is the recommendations that we have for other organizations that wants to implement this in their respective organization. One is to invest in simple telematic solution in fleets if full fleet system are not feasible. And then 2, incorporate feedback loops, e.g. monthly, one-on-one weekly meetings or weekly meetings with drivers. And then align recognition programs with performance management. And last but not least, make the program adaptable to your context, to your local context and fleet culture. So this is it for the recommendation. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay. Any question? Anyone on this?
I think we have a hand raised from Mohammed. Did you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question, Mohammed? Mohammed Ibrahim? Maybe it's an accidental hint.
I think. Sorry to interrupt. It looks he might not be able to unmute himself.
There we go.
There you go.
Hello, do you hear me? Yes, actually,
Yes.
there were some colleagues who were saying that they were not actually hearing the voice. Actually, they were not following up. So I just wanted to alert you on that.
Okay, thanks, Mohammed. We already recommended those colleagues to leave for a moment and then join back in, because the sound is coming through okay.
Any question from anyone?
So maybe Moses, I see Lenka is asking in the chat whether it would be possible to share your KPIs, the KPIs that you used for the. Maybe can you explain a little bit more about the KPIs that you used?
Okay. Thank you, Ross. The KPI that we use during the program is hash braking, hash cornering, hash acceleration, and excessive idling. So we are using fleet management system for that, and it's the system that is giving us the calculation of the incidents for the harsh braking, harsh acceleration, and harsh braking. These are times of the time that when driver apply the brake harshly, or harsh cornering, or harsh acceleration. And then for the excessive idling, these are number of times that the driver leave the engine on without moving. So once it is above 2 minutes, based on our settings, the system is now going to be reading the time that the driver leave the vehicle on without moving. So if you need maybe more explanation on how the system works, we can discuss maybe outside this so that I will show you how we are monitoring it on our system. Yeah.
I see another question in the chat asking clarification on which fleet management software you used.
Okay, the fleet management system that we use is AMS Fast Track. The office is based in Dubai. If you are interested, I can connect you with the service providers. Thank you.
Excellent. We have one hand raised. If you want to unmute yourself, are you able to unmute? Should be.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Hi, Moses. I just want to ask, what strategy is the most effective in ensuring that drivers' well-being is like in ensuring drivers' well-being and safety in high-risk or remote locations, especially where access to support service is limited?
Thanks. The name is Morasikia Sani Uman. Sorry if I don't pronounce it correctly. So one is to give the drivers proper orientation before engagement. For instance, if you have new drivers on board, it is very important for you to give them proper orientation on how the organization works, and also there are some basics training that the driver is supposed to receive on eco driving, and driving behavior, so that they will know all these things. And then having weekly meetings with the drivers is also key, or one-on-one meetings, so that you will also hear from them what are some of the challenges that they are facing in their context, to see how they can support, how you can support them better as the fleet manager of that location or their supervisor. Another thing is annual refresher training is also one of the strategy that you will use to enhance the driver's capacity. And another thing is about the feedback based on their performance, like the use of this system during our weekly and monthly meetings. I used to generate these reports to show the performance of each driver, so that if we have drivers that are not performing well, we'll give them feedback on what they need to do, and also receive feedback from the drivers that are performing well, to share what are some of the things that they have done that resulted to this good performance. I think these are some of the key areas that once we concentrate, we are going to see results from the performance of our drivers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So I just see one other comment that says it would be really cool to obtain recommendations for fleet management systems that are outsourced. So that's good. Thanks so much, Moses. Do we have any other questions or comments for Moses? All right.
Yeah, actually, this is Mohammed. I just wanted to ask Moses about, I work actually in a very hot environment, and mostly idling is actually, people normally say that idling is not good. And we normally use ACs on our vehicles, so which means that once we are out of the field, the ACs are on. So what is the recommended time for idling? Maybe I wanted to know that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mohammed, for this question. So, changing behavior, change is somehow difficult for people, but once you have a goal, and then you make it very clear to people to know that this is what you want to achieve, with sensitization, continuous monitoring and training for people, they will understand the reason why you need to off this engine off when the vehicle is not moving. So we recommend anything from 2 minutes you should off the engine. So before it was 1 minute, but a lot of people were complaining, they are not comfortable leaving them in the hot weather, other things. But we recommend that if they are out on the field, if there are maybe shells or maybe tree that the driver can park, we recommend that the driver should find a shelter to park the vehicles and then off the engine, because you cannot, be saving lives and then damaging the environment. So we need to care for the planet. Once people know the disadvantage of this excessive idling, I definitely believe that they are going to change their behaviors. Thank you.
Excellent point, Moses. I fully agree with you. And actually, idling makes the planet hotter. So there you go.
Yeah.
Excellent point. There's one other question. I'd like to know how incidents like harsh braking are picked up from the fleet system.
Okay. This incident of harsh braking, like for instance, if the driver did not anticipate traffic and then all of a sudden he applied the brake, so the system is going to get information that the driver has applied the brake harshly. So the system is going to be counting at the end of the week or the day or the month is going to accumulate, and then the system is going to generate the report of the times that the driver have done harsh braking while driving, within the particular period of time that the driver work. The system is very nice, so we are really enjoying the system.
Yeah, it sounds really good. It sounds quite advanced. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll have to organize another session where you can share more details.
And another thing is the drivers now really understand where the incident happened, how, and also why. They can now explain. So with the training and the continual monitoring and the feedback section that we're having with them, once there are incidences like this, they should be able to tell you where the incident happened. And then if you check the system, it's going to show you the locations of the incident that happened, from the system report that is going to be generated from the system.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I know that some vehicles these days have like alerts. If you do harsh braking, it'll give you like a pop-up on the screen. Yeah, that's very cool. Hussein, you have your hand raised. Nasser.
Yes, thank you very much, Catherine. Thank you, Moses. I think they're very good, like the tips. But what we do, like number one, this harsh braking is a part of driver's behavior. This is what we do. And number two, it also comes like with the speeding incidents. It's not only harsh braking, but the overspeeding is one of the key performance indicator, which we consider like as a driver's performance, like. How many time he was overspeeding, how many times. So we would the system we have the alerts, we have this, we can schedule the reports. We do like the everything, like not only harsh braking, but we have the under driver's performance, like the overspeeding, like speeding incidents, and then we do have some. And coming back to the idling, I just want to highlight, like it depends in which area you operate. I mean, like we cannot have one hard and fast rule, like okay, 2 minutes or 1 minute. Sometimes you are in the field, deep in the field, there is no shelter, no, it's a desert, and then the technical team is inside the health facility, and your driver has to stay outside. So what we have, educate our driver in a way, like okay, once you are in that kind of situation, just alert us, tell us, okay, you will be idling the vehicle for this much time because you don't have any. So it does not affect their performance through the reports, because the idling report only shows like how many minutes or how many, like the for how long the one vehicle was idle under which driver. But if we are informed as fleet managers, then I think it should not affect their performance, or it should because the information is already shared. Sometimes they are stuck in the deep in the traffic jams, and then some kind of accident happened, and then you don't have any way to come out, so you cannot just switch off your car and the staff is sitting inside under this 50 or 40 degrees Celsius. So it depends like case to case and how you manage. So these were my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nasser. And just to also confirm, that's our colleague from WHO. Okay, if we have no more questions or comments, let's move on now to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, over to you, my friend.
Good morning, good afternoon from whichever part of the world you are joining. My name is Ibrahim Maina, the Fleet Coordinator for Save the Children International based in Nigeria. Please confirm if you can hear me so that I will not just be talking to myself. All right, thank you very much. So as the saying goes, safety is everyone's business. So I will be brief and so that we can have the remaining time to interact, get to know your own experiences, as well as answer questions that may arise in the course of the presentation. Next slide, please. So in line with the UN goal for road safety, Save the Children aligns with that. We have 5 pillars for road safety. We have the road safety management as pillar 1. We have the safer vehicles. We have the safer road users. We also have the post-crash response as well as the safe driving environments. So in line with this, Save the Children have gone a long way in ensuring that we are able to create policies and procedures that aligns with these policies. So to the next slide, please, so that we will see how these pillars are applicable to the Nigeria country program. So in terms of road safety management, Save the Children Nigeria has been able to establish the Road Safety Working Group in 2023. The Road Safety Working Group is comprises of the head of supply chain, the safety and security, the HR and admin, representatives from the child safeguarding, as well as field managers. So the Road Safety Working Group is tasked with responsibilities of organizing Road Safety Week, the Global Road Safety Week, also developing road transport operating procedures, also set annual targets for reducing incidents, as well as conduct driver award and recognition program. In terms of road safety management, also in the Nigeria country program, over 95% of staff have been able to sign the road safety pledge, and then we intend to nominate road safety ambassadors before the end of 2025. Road safety ambassadors are program staffs who show a high level of commitment towards road safety, that are program staff that we collaborate with to drive the road safety message to program during implementation. Next slide, please. So in terms of safer vehicles, we have undergone a fleet transformation process, rejuvenating our fleet by reducing the average age of our vehicles from over 8 years to 3.6 years as it stands. We also have the fleet right sizing and profiling to ensure vehicles are fit for purpose. We have also been able to reduce the total number of rented vehicles. We replace them with fleet service charge vehicles, as we have realized that over 70% of road traffic incidents that we have had in the Nigeria country program involves rented vehicles. We also have comprehensive insurance cover for both SCI owned and rented vehicles. We also engage in installation of IVMS to monitor driving patterns as well as driving performance and behavior. Daily checks are always conducted before and after trips to ensure that the vehicles are fit for the purpose. Next slide, please. So in terms of safer road users, we have been able to use three key ideologies: the driver management, the accountability, as well as the journey management. In terms of driver management, we do have regular meetings with drivers. We review performance based on data that we're able to generate from IVMS. We also consider the health and well-being of drivers through medical checks to ensure that drivers are fit to drive. We also run a workload analysis on drivers' performance as well as their workload at the end of every month to identify drivers that have high workload, which are susceptible to fatigue, and fatigue is one of the leading causes of road traffic incidents. We also have the driver reward and recognition program that is conducted every year. During the reward program, we are able to award drivers with a cash sum of about $62. Then in terms of accountability, we practice the one driver, one vehicle system. We also have been able to personalize key cards to the vehicles to be able to trace driver performance to each driver. We also have feedback mechanisms that are placed in the vehicles that program staff can just scan the QR code and send their feedback concerning the driving behavior. And then in terms of journey management, we advocate for staff to usually submit their travel request earlier, given 5 days notice, so as to enable the fleet team to properly plan the trips. We also advocate that drivers should have 15 minutes of break for every 2 hours. We also, according to our policy, drivers do not drive more than 350 miles in a day or 8 hours. So as you can see the graph, it shows the overspeeding alerts that we are able to generate between January and May. In January, we had 123 speeding alerts. So when we personalize the key cards, we're able to see which driver exactly has been overspeeding, and then we're able to call and caution them, discuss their performance. By February, we had only 22 speeding alerts. By March, we had 18, and by April, we had 6. So as at the end of May, we had only 3 overspeeding alerts, and we intend to achieve 0 going forward. Next slide, please. So in terms of post-crash response, we have standard operating procedures for incident investigation and analysis. We have clearly defined timelines for incident investigation and reporting. We also have trained investigators that were trained by the Fleet Forum. We also have we also analyze road traffic data to identify trends and see areas where we need to improve. We also encourage reporting of minor and near misses to ensure that those incidents do not happen. Next slide, please. So every success story always comes with its challenges. One of the challenges we have faced is we are unable to install IVMS on rented vehicles, and this is the reason why most of the road traffic incidents are usually with rented vehicles. We also have resistance to change. For example, some program staff, when you bring these initiatives that drivers do not have to drive more than 350 miles, some will tell you, no, they have an emergency, they have a program, they need to do this, they need to go there. So we have also battled the issue of resistance to some of these policies and these innovative ideas. Then also we have initial cost of implementation, especially installing the IVMS, which cost a lot. But then at the end of, after going through a cost benefit analysis, we realized that the benefits are more than the cost, and hence we had to go with the installation. Also, we have issue of compliance and enforcement gaps. This was usually before the installation of IVMS, where we noticed that some drivers drive above the 2 hours without the rest or breaks that are required. But now with the IVMS, we're able to monitor driver based on their locations. We also have data. We can run reports to see the journey where each driver has stopped, where he has rested, and so on. Next slide, please. So what we have learned that monitoring drivers' patterns and behavior significantly reduces the risk of road traffic incidents. Good team management builds courage, trust, and loyalty, and creates a conducive working environment where drivers feel free to open up on issues such as near miss that they couldn't have done, but because of good team management, they are loyal, and then they feel they trust you. All those things are things that they will easily open up to. Well-maintained vehicles are also less susceptible to road traffic incidents that result from mechanical failures. Then raising awareness and conducting training sessions improves compliance among staff, as this is one of the responsibilities also of the road safety working group. Then regular meetings with drivers promotes continuous improvement because you identify areas of improvement, you give feedback, and then you monitor progress. Then reducing reliance on rented vehicles also improves fleet control, standardization, and safety control. Next slide, please. So as part of recommendations based on our experience, if we recommend that you create a culture of where drivers feel safe to report unsafe conditions or near misses without punishment or blame. This will always encourage them to do more, recognize outstanding performances, and reward safe driving behaviors. Also establish strong road safety policies and minimum vehicle safety standards. This is very good in terms of road safety. Also install IVMS on vehicles to monitor driving behaviors and identify areas of improvement based on driving patterns as well as performance. use data regularly during driver meetings to review performance and show drivers, just like we did, showing drivers that have high overspeeding alerts, showing them that this is it, this is the exact point where the overspeeding took place and all those things. And then at the end of the day, we're able to have a very good result. So in collaboration with safety and security, we conduct route assessment to ensure that travel routes are also safe, then invest in trainings and creating awareness for both the drivers, who are the key stakeholders, as well as the program staff. Because if you only train the drivers without the program staff, there will always be a conflict, because the staff, whenever the drivers are introducing those policies to them, the staff will always resist and say they are not aware. So these training sessions goes through both the drivers as well as the program staff. Then we monitor progress and improvements. We have a baseline. This is where we used to be. This is where we are now. Just like we saw the overspeeding alerts. January, we had 123. At the end of May, we had only 3. And we are still working on it. We are monitoring progress, and we are optimistic that we'll achieve absolute 0. Then also enhance feedback mechanisms and reporting systems. This is also a good way of improving road safety, because sometimes it may not necessarily be the driver, but the program staff. They can report unsafe incidents or unsafe driving behavior, just like maybe a driver using a mobile phone while driving, or also not adhering to traffic laws. So I think based on these recommendations, if we're able to implement them, it will go a long way in improving our road safety culture. Next slide, please. So thank you very much for listening. This is the time for questions, if you have any, and comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ibrahim, for the presentation. There are already questions. So Serge is asking, do you systematically install IVMS on all the rental cars, or is there a minimum of days?
Yes, so by our new policy, the fleet manual, which we're working on, which came into effect from the 1st January 2025, the fleet manual says that even the rented vehicles now, we need to install IVMS. So this is an ongoing discussion. We are discussing with most of our vendors to see what we can do about it. And I think in the course of discussions, some of the stakeholders suggested a plug and play, that there's a kind of IVMS that is plug and play. So we can also do that on the rented vehicles, just to ensure proper monitoring of the rented vehicles as well. Thank you.
Super, super. Thanks, Ibrahim. Stefano, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Very interesting. I just want to ask one clarification. In the first slide, you mentioned reducing the total number of rented vehicles, replacing them with FSC. What FSC stands for?
Okay, sorry about that. I should have put it in full. FSC means fleet service charge, is a systematic way of that Save the Children use. We buy our own vehicles and then we deploy it for use, and then we engage donors. So instead of Save the Children as an organization to rent vehicles, we deploy our own vehicles and then we recover the cost, usually within a period of 5 years. Because based on our policy, the vehicles are supposed to be disposed at the end of 5 years or 150,000 kilometers, whichever one comes first. So FSC vehicles are Save the Children owned vehicles that we buy and then recover the cost through the cost recovery mechanism of fleet service charge. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
So
these
basically,
fleet service charge vehicles, we use them to replace the rented vehicles. So instead of donors to rent vehicles, we deploy these fleet service charge vehicles to where they would have used rented vehicles.
Thank you. So basically, each country gives you a contribution, a sort of renting within the organization, correct?
Yes, it's one of our key performance indicators that we track the rental spend from every country, from every program at the end of every month.
Thank you.
Then I saw Tesfai having his hand up, but it's gone now. So we're moving to Murakisha, and then Serge, and then Tesfai.
All right. Thanks, Maina, for the presentation. I just wanted to ask, in the course of your presentation, you talked about right sizing of the fleet. So I wanted to ask, can carpooling be considered as a form of fleet right sizing, or are the two concepts different?
Well, the two concepts are different, but they are kind of interrelated. In terms of right sizing and right profiling, you usually get the right vehicles that are fit for purpose. Like, for example, a terrain that is rugged, you cannot deploy maybe a saloon car, a sedan car. You definitely need to deploy a Land Cruiser hardtop. So those are the things that are considered during right sizing and right profiling. While in terms of carpooling, you tend to have total control of the fleet, where you assign vehicles based on need by need basis or first come first serve, not necessarily the conventional one that we have, where we have vehicles that belongs to program, that whether the vehicles are being utilized or not because they belong to a specific program, and then another program is in need of vehicle, you are unable to assign. So in terms of carpooling, all the vehicles are under your total control. It doesn't belong to any program, but any program that requires a vehicle, you assign on a need by need basis, as well as based on priority or first come first serve. Thank you.
All right, thanks. I have another question regarding the one vehicle, one driver system. Between the one vehicle, one driver system and the shared driver system, which do you think is more efficient?
Well, usually as a form of best practice, we usually advocate for one driver, one vehicle system. The simple reason is because sometimes maybe driver A goes out with a vehicle and there's a minor scratch or an incident or something that he may not report. Driver B goes out with the vehicle, another thing happens, and then driver C also goes out with the vehicle. At the end of the day, you will not be able to account actually what exactly happened and who is responsible. But when you have the one driver, one vehicle system, is we also rotate it at the end of every 6 months. We can still rotate and reshuffle the vehicles. So in using the one driver, one vehicle, so you know that for these 6 months, anything that happens to this vehicle, you know that driver A is held responsible for it and not any other person. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move to Tesfai.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Thank you, Catherine, and thank you, colleagues. Just my question is that how do you conduct a root cause analysis once after a vehicle crash happens? Do you have a
Yes.
team to conduct that?
Yes, we do. We have, for Save the Children International in Nigeria, we have a team of trained investigators who were trained by Fleet Forum on road traffic incident investigation and analysis. So for every incident, one of the things we do is to check the immediate cause of the incident, the underlying cause of the incident, as well as the root cause of the incident. So based on our interactions, interview of witnesses, we're able to get the immediate cause of the incident. For example, maybe a vehicle has an incident and then maybe the driver was overspeeding. So it's obvious, you can see that the immediate cause of the incident is overspeeding. Now, from overspeeding, you trace it backwards to, okay, what caused the driver to overspeed? Probably the driver did not depart when he was supposed to depart. He started the journey late, and then the program staff in the vehicle were pressurizing him to be able to meet up with time. So you could see that that pressure that they put on him to overspeed, we call it the underlying cause of the incident because it's not the immediate cause. Then we'll still drag it backward and see, okay, were there policies in place that the organization has put to prevent all these things? Now, if there are no policies in place, we see that, okay, the root cause of the incident, road traffic incident, is because there are no proper policies that have been put in place to prevent the underlying as well as the immediate cause of the incident. So those are the things we consider. We go through a thorough investigation process after every road traffic incident to get the immediate cause of the incident, the underlying cause, as well as get to the root cause. Now we submit recommendations, reports with recommendations based on that. So Usually, the root cause of incidents has to do with something that would probably necessitate a policy change or the organization to revisit the policy and then enforce those policies to ensure that those incidents never happen again. Thank you.
Super, thanks, Ibrahim. And I really, well, I can't only, fully agree with you on the importance of root cause analysis. I think for those of you who know me, it's one of my sort of mantra that I try to get everybody to do, because it really helps you to identify the things that we have not organized in our organizations properly, and therefore it allows, if we don't address those issues, it allows for the same crash happening in future again, right? So I'm really happy to see that. Any more questions? I don't think so. So I think we're gonna hand over to Samuel.
I'm not sure I've seen him on the call. Samuel, are you here? Did you manage to join? He might have not managed. Okay. I think he might not be on the call, so he must have been called up for work. So let's proceed. I think we can.
Okay.